episode 8 of the remake of Fist of the North Star. What did we think about it? I just watched the episode, and I think, well, first of all, sorry, I won't have really good things, I guess, to say about this episode. The few things, it's crazy again how we really get all of these different things. I know we know they're different, but at this point, it's like so many small little things. Why do we have so many small little different things? It's like, let's change this and let's change that, right? So it's very weird to see all of these. But you know what? Let's say one good thing as we. It's not that important, but the music was pretty cool when the grandmother, let's say, was talking about, so I think the kids were sleeping and she's talking about how they're like her cute little children. The music was pretty cool there. That's the good thing. Okay, now I can say the the other things. I think the main problem of this episode is when Taki, that's the name of the kid, right, goes alone to steal water. And so they say that he went to steal water from another village, a village next to that one, I guess, right? So, well, we don't know the details. So, but that's the problem. Now, without details, if you say, well, this is where they are, right, and I think that's also a village, right? I don't know whether they say it that clearly that it's a village where they are, as in the grandmother and the other kids, yeah. But I think it's a village. You had people there and they left that place because there was water and now there's no water anymore. And so, but there is an other village. So why don't you go there? Well, there's a crazy guard. That's what they say, right? But it's just another village. It's just another village with a crazy guard. Now, I'm pretty sure that in the classic series, they steal water, they say, from Jackal's men. Or from criminals, and that's the way they're presented. You have criminals there, we're gonna steal water from the bandits. So it's still this evil against evil, which is fine, as we talked about it a lot, right? But here, when they first said, so amongst these differences, oh, we're gonna steal water from another village, I was like, yeah, I know. If you have to steal it, it's because everyone can't drink from it freely, so that's the problem, right? By the way, it's pretty cool that Kenshiro then, when at the end of the episode they're attacked by the bandits, right? Kenshiro says, drink the water you want, then go. So it's like water should be that thing that belongs to everyone. So Taki shouldn't even be in a position he has to steal water, let's say. That's right. But then the way it's presented is not that, as I often talk about it, and I also said that concerning this remake, you don't have in this remake that much of this clear distinction between the good and the evil people. And as much as people may like it, I think we get a lot of this, and it's not necessarily a good thing. I think maybe we should also know what's good. Like this is definitely good, and what's bad, also. And even in the classic series, we have enough of the trying have an empathy for the big antagonists who got to be like that for a reason. That, yes. But not doing because that's really, it's something that we said before, actually. Really when they said, oh, we're going to steal it from another village, but then we have to steal, it's another village, and so they have a crazy guard. The first thing that came to my mind is, oh no, are they going to show us other evil or pretty evil villages? I was really scared we were going to get that, but then what we got is just, yeah, a crazy guard who just popped out of nowhere, just coming and killing Taki. So this episode was much more, it's true that that's a good thing about this episode, it was much more dramatic, right? As in, whoa, this poor kid died just because he wanted to get water for the grandmother. It's true that that's a pretty good thing, but then the sequel is that when Kenshiro comes back, right, and so he punches the ground there, right, in the well, I guess. And so water came out. Well, really the way it was done, right, is that he did it out of anger. As in, Turkey, my guy. And then he punches so hard that water comes out. So we don't have the whole... Remember what we said about this episode in the analysis of the classic series? The whole seeing through the thick layer of rock. Hope, I think, was the key word. Oh, well, we said many things. Faith. I think we had... Well, this is a few episodes. I think it was faith, but there was hope too, so I don't remember exactly how I did this, but I'll quite lose that. So, that's a pity again. And it was out of anger. And so you don't have the faith thing, as in... so in this remake, it's like water, and they say it actually pretty explicitly, that the water that comes out of the layer of rock, but if it's the same thing, because really you don't have the same thing as in the classic series. You don't have the, like, there's a thick layer of rock next, but with a materialistic mind said that, right? But then it will definitely come out, right? The grandmother in the classic, we didn't have this. And so you didn't have that you have a lot actually in the classic series, and well, maybe we have it a bit here too, but you had it more back then, implicitly but strongly, as I like to repeat it. Believing in things as crazy as they may seem, which is why you may not like actually characters like Lin, which is idealism, utopia, right? Like, shut up. We shouldn't say that. Like, we're still in the wrong if we think that, basically. So we didn't have those things here. And so the water, they pretty explicitly said in this episode, the water coming out symbolizes, Turkey's wishes or something. They said something like that. I don't know how that works symbolically, but it's pretty simple, right? Well, water came out and Turkey died for it, so it's like, let's remember Turkey. Well, that's it basically. But I don't see how, like, water coming out of there is a symbol for Turkey's death. What Turkey fought for. Yeah, it's water, but that's it, But water being the essence of life, being hidden, it doesn't come out in that chaotic world in which you don't have water. Through that thick layer of rock, which is what you see right in front of you, and people don't think there's water behind, but there is water there, and you believe in it for some reason. Like, this works completely, and it's good. Like, symbolically, it was much better. And also it's telling you good things, important things. Now here it's basically sad, like kids get killed. Kind of already knew this, but... And also, it's like a village. I don't really understand, like, that's supposed to be villages. We don't know where that guard comes from. They don't tell us it's just bandits, So it's a bit complicated. The last thing I want to say is... So this is quite funny, actually, because Kenshiro then says, you don't have this in the classic series. So the water comes out, and Kenshiro says, okay, this is good, now we have water, but like, you should hide this water. Don't know how you do that, but you should hide this well, okay? Like, I don't even know how you would do this. You don't have this in any other village, but like, you don't have that in the classic series, but here it's like, bandits are probably going to attack. I don't know the scenario, but never, certainly if they know you have water. It's not like bandits, check everywhere, let's say, and attack every place they spot, but try to hide it, okay? And then 𝚿𝚎 says it too. Oh no, surely bandits will attack us, right? You know what I'm talking about? And then I think the grandmother says it too, or Kenshiro. And here's the problem. When you say this, Kenshiro leaving that place loses all of its meaning, because Kenshiro says, where I am, disaster comes. Well, you've been repeating that because now there is water there, the bandits are gonna come, so stay there. It is true that disaster comes where Kenshiro or the Hokuto is, but that's not the way it's presented in this episode. It's disaster comes where there is water. So I'm not even going to comment that. It's very different though. So it's like, where I am, disaster comes. But it's like, no, they're going to come for the water. So stay there, protect the good people. So it loses all of its meaning. In the classic series, Kenshiro remembers Yuria. And so you remember the things that we said. It's like, he sees the truth in that kid who thinks Kenshiro is God, and the faith in the kid who thinks Kenshiro is God, the faith in the grandmother who definitely thinks water is going to come out. Faith, we said, right? And so, and we talked about mother. I don't know what the keyword was exactly. Maybe it was something like that. But the fact that it was some sort of maternal energy, we also talked about that, and we said that those may have reminded Kenshiro, because of those, may have remembered Yuria, and so that's why he remembers Yuria, and it's for Yuria that he goes. So it's more faith. You see, like, it's so coherent. But here he goes for a right reason in general, but in this episode it doesn't work. You know? So, because they're going to come for the water, and you keep telling us, so it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall. You keep telling us that bandits are going to come, and we see the bandits in question. If you watch the classic series, you already know what's going to happen. Like, they keep telling us. And so you don't have the subtlety, you don't have the, you know, let's tell people some general things. Let's talk about some real things that happen, right? But instead they tell us about the things that are going to happen later in the episode. And I think it's not as good as in the classic series.